else is connected. And here we go. We are live on all platforms now. Hello, everyone, and welcome, welcome, welcome.
Hi, hi, hi.
I want to welcome everyone to the Unspoken Truth. Can you believe this is episode 10?
No, wait. Of this
This season is
season, shut
episode
the front
10,
door.
I believe. Um, so wow,
Yes,
a huge
yes,
wow.
yes.
Um, if I'm not mistaken. Now,
Wait, we can. So keep talking. I'm gonna figure it out because
okay.
we track everything around these parts.
You know what? That's what I love. What I love about us is that we're organized. Okay, sometimes we're organized, and we love to keep notes on everything. We love to document everything. Uh,
Yes.
and I'm going to get into that in a second, but welcome again to the Unspoken Truth. I'm your girl, Jay Black, and this is Mrs. Keena B. Please tell Mr. Baker I said that. So this is Mrs. Keena B. And what is the Unspoken Truth? The Unspoken Truth is an inside look at building, developing, and scaling a sustainable coaching business. Keena and I, we provide real solutions, real strategy, real support and resources that's going to help you build your coaching business the right way. So we're always going to come to you unfiltered. We're always going to deliver the truth. So again, welcome to the Unspoken Truth. Today's topic is going to be about the mistakes that keep you from scaling, and we're going to really look at it from the perspective of coaches whenever they're ready to scale their business. They still have the tendency to be indecisive. And we're going to get into that and talk about what can lead to indecisiveness, and how you can approach it and have the confidence whenever your business is telling you that you're ready to scale to go ahead and take that leap. Now, I'm going to go back to something that I said I was going to talk about at the beginning, at the intro. So, talking about documentation, my marketer, my previous marketer, we had a conversation about something, and she was going to uh, take on a new task. So that had happened months previous. The decision, the conversation, all of that happened months previous. So we're at the point where it's time for, we're at that stage. Need you to go ahead and do this. So she was like, "Did I say I was going to do that? What did I say I was going to blah, 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 blah? Did I say that I was going to charge this?" I said, "Let me go to my notes." Yes, you did.
The benefit of keeping notes. Oh my gosh, Jay, the number of times I've done that on people, I'm like, oh,
Yes.
honey, I have receipts. Like I have the text message, I have the chat message, I have the email, I have the video, I have something that tells me that what we agreed to. So yes,
Exactly. Exactly. And so you need somebody like that on your team who,
absolutely.
you need someone on your team that's, yes, detail oriented, that can see the big picture and break that down into small tasks, be able to look for loopholes and all that. Yeah, you need someone on your team that's like that, but you also need someone who likes to document everything.
It's a necessity. It's not even a do I want that. If you're a coach, that is a necessity.
Exactly. And that person needs to be organized. Because what's the
Yes,
point in having your
documentation.
receipts
You can't find it.
and you can't find it? That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about. Okay, so let's get into this about first before we get into the point of view of indecisiveness. Let's talk about scaling and how coaches know that they're ready to scale. Now, if you haven't heard of our breakdown of the four phases of actually, it's really any business, but specifically for coaching businesses, is you first come in at build, that's laying the foundation. Strengthen is whenever you add more systems, add more funnels, you have a consistent flow of clients coming in, so your business is off the ground, it's running. um, Build, strengthen, grow. Grow is whenever you're able to add on a team. Now your business is able to really bring in revenue to keep it operating. It's not just that bare minimum. You're able to step back a little bit from your business and enjoy your role as the coach. And then, whenever you go through the build, strengthen, grow, scale, that's whenever you have an audience that's locked in. You can have retreats, you can have um, huge masterminds, you can license your program, you can bring on co-coaches. It's
Hmm.
now your business is a business.
Mhm.
um so that's when, if you're thinking about, and Keena, you mentioned that this whenever we were discussing the topic, if sometimes coaches want to leap past all the other phases and they want to go to scale, they want to have co-coaches in a program where you have no clients or you just have a handful of clients. They want to put on these events and they don't have an audience to market to. So you can scale too fast, and that's what Keena was talking about, and I'm gonna be quiet so she can go ahead and talk about that. You can scale too fast, but you can also be afraid of the scaling. So we're going to talk about that a little bit. So Keena, I'm going to turn it over to you. We were talking about scaling too fast and how will a coach know that it's time for them to scale. Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
Yes. Before I do that, though, can I just say for those of you who is afraid to start podcasting, afraid to partner, let me just insert this right here. Jay and I talked for maybe 5 minutes prior to this. We don't have a script. We're jumping in. And so literally everything that Jay just said, I was like, all right, Jay, I need you to talk about BSGS, which is build, strengthen, grow, scale. So that's my way of remembering it. BSGS. Anyway, and I was like, I'm smiling on the inside because I'm just like, oh yeah, this is working. This is literally working. And by the way, it is episode 7.
Oh, episode 7. Okay.
Yes, well,
We're
episode 7.
close though. We're
Yes,
close.
yes, we're extremely. First of all, we're close to what we did prior, and for
Yes.
me, that's growth because it's like, and I want to say the first season that we did was a little start and stop. Like we had gaps
Hmm.
of time that before we recorded the next live. Like we were consistent for like a couple of weeks, blah blah blah. So I'm just gonna say I am so happy right now that we are doing this. Um, but back to the question, and Jay, remind me of the question because I wrote notes and I'm like, I want to make sure I answer the question first. What was your question so that I can get back to the
I want you
topic
to
at
talk about like coaches who are scaling too fast.
hand?
And what does scaling in a business, a coaching business, look like?
So, so you, in essence, you definitely described it, in like in a nutshell. one of the things that I know, or I cannot when I can identify a business is ready, it's because the coach has their coaching program down pat. Meaning they know what their first session's about. They know what to do when there's a problem. They, in essence, have um, things lined up. And I'm just saying these things random. Um, they have a way to follow up, to check in with their clients. Like everything is so well documented, as we talked about, or Jay talked about at the beginning, that co-coaches, it would be a necessity because now you don't have the capacity, but you also have the infrastructure in place to bring on a co-coach. So it's not necessarily just about the money and you making enough money to be able to bring that type of team member on, but it's also you having things together, your systems together, your business together, so that when you bring on coaches, they in essence can take over some of your coaching clients. Um, yes, a lot of coaches do. I mean, they want to skip all the steps, including the build stage, and go straight to scale, because that's where the fun is. That's where you get to do the things, the coaching. You get to make an impact with your clients. You get to do all the things that you are envisioning that you want to do. However, there are it's almost what reminds me of if is having a child. It's rare, very very rare, that you have a 5-year-old that has everything together as an 18-year-old. Like, matter of fact, it's next to impossible.
Right.
And essentially, when you have a coach, when you're in a situation where you're just starting and you're trying to scale your business, you're trying to bring on co-coaches, you're trying to have an OBM, a graphic designer. That's not a thing anymore, but you have someone that's doing your graphics, you have someone that's putting your content together, you have someone that's scheduling speaking events. Like, you have this humongous team and really no real revenue coming in. And so in essence, everything is set up backwards. So you have the elements of a business that has scaled, but you have no foundation. You skipped the whole build stage, you skipped the whole grow, the strength, you skipped all of that. And those stages are necessary because that helps you figure out what works and what doesn't work. That helps you figure out and have a greater understanding of the type of client you can actually work with. So Jay, in last episode, Jay talked about um, your audience versus your ideal client. Those are very much different people. And so we have a lot of times in our mind, like, we can paint the picture of the client that we want. They have the money, they can pay the bill, they're coachable, they just have all these attributes, and you working with them is still going to help you figure out whether or not your business is set up for that type of person, so you can start bringing them in.
Hmm.
And so, again, a lot of coaches try to skip a lot of these steps, but skipping those steps is detrimental. Like, and I'm just going to come out and say it, it's very detrimental, because at the end of the day, my stance is you're going to have to go back to it eventually. So you can skip it all you want, but what'll happen is you'll start working and find yourself with many clients that are not ideal. You'll find yourself with too many team members. You'll find yourself trying to with a business that doesn't resemble what you envisioned, and it's because you didn't do the foundational work. And so yeah, that's my 5 minute, 10 minute, whatever minute spiel.
The thing that I will add on to that is, whenever you're at the scale stage, your business can function without your everyday presence.
Yep, yep.
You
Key.
can take time away to really have that time that you envision with your family, with your kids, that you want to go on vacation to wherever that is. I was trying to think of different islands, but
Bali,
yeah,
that all them sex Greece, them sexy
right.
vacations.
Those vacations that require like lounge wear and, swimsuits and stuff. So those types of vacations, you can start to take those because you're not needed to make the everyday decisions, to be involved in your business every day. You don't have to show up on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn,
Your
wherever,
inbox.
TikTok every day. You don't have
Yes.
to record a whole bunch of videos. It, your business will demand less from you because it's at the scaling stage. Um, which means that it's already, think of it like this. Think of it like your business has gained 20 pounds and it cannot fit in those jeans anymore.
Okay,
So,
genuine.
so maybe, you add team members to your business. So you may add, take out some of the seam. You might add that little whatever contraption you can add on to the button to give
Elastic.
you a little bit of stretch in it. It might have some spandex in the jeans to stretch a little bit. But at some point, if you keep gaining weight, stop it and get a new pair of jeans in that new size that fits. That's what scaling is. Your business has put on some weight and it can't fit in those jeans anymore.
Yes.
So
Yes.
that's when you know it's time to take your business to the next level. But here's the trick: whenever you go to the next level, you're going to start in the build phase again.
Mm, 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 mm.
See, nobody talks about that because
Yeah.
there's a difference between $100,000 business and a $500,000 business.
And $1 million.
That's different
Yes.
than $1 million business.
Yep.
And you're going to have to start putting things in place to now deal with that new bracket that you're in.
Mm-hmm.
So it may not take you as long to get through these phases, but you're going to go through the phases again.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So it's important that you have the skill of being decisive whenever your business is moving.
Mm-hmm.
So it needs you to make decisions like that.
Yep.
Your team needs you to be, hey, I know I have you for 5 minutes. So look, this is what I need to answer to. This is what I need to answer to. Okay, you need to think about that. Okay, fine. I need to have an answer by Friday. You can hit those bullet points. Yeah, for some reason I wanted to say bulletproof, but bullet points.
All right, 50
Uh,
Cent.
but you'll be able to get through meetings a lot quicker,
Mm-hmm.
because you have your stuff together. If you are a decisive CEO, so that's the reason why, um, that skill of being decisive, that asset, is so crucial to your business when you're at that point.
Mm-hmm.
And to be honest with you, it's not even whenever you're at that point you need to start start exercising that muscle earlier on in your phases, in your stages. But it's even more important whenever you're able to pull away from your business, because your team is what's keeping your business afloat.
Yep.
It's your team and your clients.
Mm-hmm.
Those two are keeping your business afloat so you can back away. But your team needs to know what you want,
Mm-hmm.
how you feel, what direction are we going in. I
Mm-hmm.
think on our last episode, we were talking about vision,
Mm-hmm.
actionable vision.
Mm-hmm.
You need to be clear in your vision, and your team needs to be clear in your vision, in the strategies that need to take place, and the tasks that are needed in order to make that strategy work. They
Mm-hmm.
need to be clear on this direction if you're going to make it past that scale phase, because you can slide back into another phase if you start derailing your business.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yes.
um so think about that. Think about, are you decisive? And another thing I want to put in there, it's not about making hasty decisions.
Exactly. That's exactly what I was. Quick and slow. Two types of decisions.
Exactly. It's not about, but what it is knowing what fits into your vision and what doesn't.
Yep.
And you also knowing what needs a little bit more time for you to get more information, for you to check other resources, for you to pray about, for you to meditate on. Whatever your process is, you need to know what those decisions are,
Mm-hmm.
so that your team can be like, okay, I need to put a pin in this, and this can keep rolling on. Um, but it's indecisive doesn't mean hasty, on the fly, um, not fully thought out decisions. It's
Mm-hmm.
about knowing what works with your vision, what doesn't work, what needs more attention, and then sticking to your decision.
Yep. Yes.
Then
Yes.
stick with it.
Yes.
If it doesn't work, now you know it doesn't work. Okay,
Exactly.
we didn't fully think about this. I thought we had it, we didn't have it. Okay, so let's look at it again. Let's revisit it. Let's
Mm-hmm.
get some more. Um, let's talk to someone who's an expert in whatever that is.
Yep.
Stick with your decision, because what's worse for your team, and ultimately what's worse for your audience, for your clients, is when, okay, I'm not doing this. Okay, now I'm going to do it. Oh, well, I feel like I'm giving too much away. Okay, so I'm not going to do it. Okay, but you, so three people said that they want it. Okay, so now we give it. Make up your mind.
Yes. Yes.
If it's, I'm not going to do, I'm going live is not my thing. Podcasting is not my thing. I don't want to do that. I rather, you know, uh, do things in person, or whatever, if that's your thing. Because I've heard it too many times.
Mm-hmm.
Podcasting's not my thing. Going live, doing videos, that's not my thing. Okay. Then they talk to their coach. Okay, Jay, so I'm going to start doing videos, and I want to think about, can we put podcasting in our strategy for this year? I thought you said you didn't want to do. Yeah, but my coach said that I need to. Okay. Then you do it a couple of times. I just don't feel comfortable. I don't want to do that.
Jay, I'm gonna give you something. I'm gonna give you something when you hear that. I'm gonna give. I really am. I'm serious.
It is. to be a part of your team, to
Been
be the
doing.
person that's exactly riding that wave and putting a strategy together. Because let me tell, I guess I have to explain my process. I give you a whole year strategy. This is what we're doing. This is the goal, the vision at the end of the year. Okay, so this is how we can accomplish this vision. Then I'm going to break it down by quarters, and then I break those quarters down so that now we have manageable tasks that we need to accomplish, things that need to be done, so on and so forth. Now, if you're like, we have the whole year mapped out, we're including your vacations, sick days, whatever, 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 and team members whenever they're going to be off and all that other stuff. We have that whole year figured out. And then I want to launch a podcast. That's huge.
Mm-hmm. There's a
That
lot of
is
behind the
huge.
scenes that has to happen.
Exactly. It's not a, oh, let me just plug this in. Even adding video to your marketing strategy. Now things have to shift. Now we have to come up with additional content. Now we need to make sure that you have proper audio, proper video, so that you can, whenever you're uh, doing this, that it makes sense. We need to figure out how we can repurpose your content. It's a lot that comes with just that one decision.
Mm-hmm.
So now think of it. All of that work goes into you making this decision, which is fine if we're going to stick to it. And then you're going to come back after a couple of times and be like, it's just not my thing.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep.
How would you feel if you cooked dinner, your family says, "No, I'm not hungry." So you make small because it's just a few people say they're hungry. Then everybody else say, "No, no, now you cooking. That smells good. I want some too." So now you need to add to it. And then you sit down at the table after you done worked all day. Now you're home cooking. Now people say they hungry. So you got to add more to it. You sit down at the table, they take two, three bites, and then they're like, I'm full. That's it. That's all I wanted. They haven't cleared the plate. They haven't. How would you feel
Mm-hmm.
after that?
Yep.
That's what your team will feel like
Mm-hmm. Yep.
after doing all of that hard work. And now your audience is also confused.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So then it goes, you start biting away at that trust. Not only your trust with your team, because they're like, okay, she don't know what she's doing. Believe me, that's what they're thinking. She don't know what she's doing. And your audience is going to be like, okay, does she really know what she's doing? Is she really successful? Is she uh, should I really trust her?
Mm-hmm.
So you're starting to bite at that. So being decisive, making a decision and sticking to it, that's what's going to help you get to the scaling stage and be able to actually scale.
Yep. Yep.
Okay, so I'm gonna be quiet now. Okay.
No, you're not. No, you're not. Like that's not the purpose of this. Is for you to be quiet. But let me add, Jay, that the other party. Am I echoing
Mm-mm.
on your end? Okay, good. Um, the other person party that you are damaging trust with is yourself. And
Mm-hmm.
that's part of the reason why you're indecisive. You don't trust yourself. You don't trust that you can make a decision and stick with it. You don't trust that the idea, the goal that you have in mind, and the strategy that you've selected, whether somebody gave it to you or you created on your own, you don't trust that any of this is going to happen. And let me just say this. The reason why I can say this to you is because I had to look myself in the mirror to realize that's what it was. That the reason why I keep backing away or I'll start something and stop it is because I'm not trusting my ability to do this a year from now. And so once I realized that, oh, I'm scared of the commitment, but
Mhm.
am I really? Am I really scared of it, or is it because it's unknown? Is it because in the past I have committed to something and then halfway through, maybe even, this is the worst, maybe I've gotten to the end and then I quit. And so again, I can say this because I have lovingly looked myself in the mirror and say, Kina, you don't trust yourself. And the minute that I said that, I was like, oh, oh, okay, first of all, who told you to say that? Like, did nobody ask you, Linda? But at the same time, that was the only thing that could describe what was happening with me, because it wasn't a matter of me not having discipline. That's not true. I do have discipline. I have discipline in different areas. But when it came to certain aspects of business, I didn't have the discipline. And I kept saying why. So again, if you've listened to us before, you've heard me say like that why question is one that'll trip people up every time. Um, Including with yourself. But a lot of times indecisiveness comes because you don't trust you. It's not about trusting whether or not people are going to sign up. It's not about your team. It's you. And so, Jay, you had said, they go to a coach and then the coach tells them they need a podcast or you need a video. And then team member, because yes, this what Jay described definitely happens. Team member comes and say, wait a minute, I thought we said we're not doing videos. What changed your mind? Oh, my coach said. And then 3 sessions in, 3 podcast episodes in, you start seeing things fall off. Oh, let's reschedule. Oh, let's do. And so you're like, okay, so now here we go. Here we go.
Mhm.
And so what I say is when I see that, I'm like, okay, you need to go talk to your coach because we are coming to a point where you're going back into that phase of not being decisive, and we need to figure out why. Is it because you're not hitting your numbers? Is it because you're not seeing a whole, audience of people and you feel like you're just talking to what is it?
Mhm.
Because in order for you to get the type of business that you want, you have to follow some strategy and you got to follow it long enough for you to know whether or not that strategy is going to work. I know I can say without, and I'm going to speak for Jay because matter of fact, she just said it. Can't imagine coming up with a strategy that's for a year, and after month one, we're now trying to redo the strategy. That's not long enough to figure out whether or not what I created is going to work. You need at least 3 months to figure out, okay, so the me posting, is my stats going up? Have I gotten any discovery calls? Have I gotten any clients? Has any of my numbers went up? Am I getting unsubscribed? Like there's so many things that need to be answered, and a month, as an example, is not enough time for you to figure that stuff out. And so I can only imagine Jay's frustration of that happening over and over again because I felt it too. It's like, wait a minute, I got a whole project created. I didn't create the whole project. We got dates lined up and who's doing what all figured out. And now you're saying, oh, I decided we're going to change it. No, because then you're making me feel like I wasted my time. And I don't like feeling like that.
You're exactly right. And it's one thing if life happened.
Yes, yes.
You
Because
know,
it does.
you're
Yes.
you're going through a divorce. Um, y- you have a surprise kid. um, you have your parents get sick.
Right.
You
Yep.
get sick.
Yep.
It's things happen, and that has nothing to do with indecisiveness. That has nothing to do with you're not sticking to a decision and seeing it out. So that's a whole other ball game. We're talking about, and what ultimately is behind your indecisiveness is exactly what Kina says. It's fear.
Mm-hmm.
And you
Yep.
have two types of fear, and one is more dangerous than the other. You have a fear of failure. If
Mm-hmm.
I get out here and I fall flat on my face, what what happens then? And how will I look? And there have been naysayers in my life, and are they right? You start questioning yourself. So you're afraid to take your business to the next level, or you're afraid to go with a certain decision that's going to push you outside of your comfort zone. Because what if you fail? The one I think is more dangerous
Hmm.
than that is your fear of success.
Knew it.
What is going to happen once my once I start getting people who are actually listening to me? So then they're looking at me as the expert. So what if I say something wrong?
Hmm.
What if I start getting clients and now I have to show up every day? I can't reschedule anymore. I have to actually go through it. What if my program really works? What if I can I put out for me being a speaker and people actually say, yes, I would love for you to. Now I'm on a stage full of people. Oh my goodness. I'm up here with such and so big name, such and so big name. That is more dangerous, in my opinion, because people fail all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Because we're imperfect, you're going to fail all the time. Even the person who is the best of the best of the best of the best at doing whatever it is, in some facet of their life, they have failed.
Yep.
So we as human beings, we are used to failing. We don't like the embarrassment of it, but we have failed. We
Mm-hmm.
have come short of something.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll be disappointed, we'll be embarrassed, but we can live with that.
Yes.
When something actually works, now you're accountable.
Mm.
Now you must show up. Now this is working. So
Mm-hmm.
now you have to go to the next step. So what is that next step? Now I am somebody is depending on me, and it requires more of you than if you failed at something.
Mm-hmm.
They have all the quotes for if you fail. How many quotes are there about when you succeed? If I mean that old adage, um, if you fail, try again.
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
know, if you
Failure's not
slip
an
and fall,
option. I'm like, but it is an option.
right? It's like you have all the things. I don't have a plan B. I'm gonna stick with plan A because I'm gonna work it till it happens. Okay, but that's about giving up and failing.
Yeah.
It
Until it
has nothing
happens.
to do with okay, once plan A succeed.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So once you understand those two fears and how they're showing up in your inability to make a decision, trust your decision, and stick with it and see it out to see if it even is a failure or a success, if once you understand which one of these is behind that motive, then you can start to address that with your coach.
Coach. Yes. Yes.
Address that with your coach.
Yes.
You
Yes.
know, instead of worrying about what you need to be doing to get clients, start working on yourself,
Mm, mm,
because you can get a marketer, you can get um, a social media manager. You can get people to do that, and they'll help you get through whatever you need to post, making videos, doing TikToks, all that other stuff. They can help you with that. Nobody can help you with working on you but you.
absolutely.
So go see a coach about which fear is driving that inability to decide, and then focus on that.
Yes.
And once you
Yep.
focus on that, then you can focus on making decisions that are sound, that and now you trust yourself in making that decision, and you want someone to hold you accountable.
Mm-hmm.
You want someone to uh, help you see it through. So that's all. Those are all things that are needed whenever you're starting to scale. If you feel your business is growing and it's busting at the seams, and you're still in that place of fear, before you can even take your business to the next step to alleviate some of that pressure, you need to hone that skill of being decisive and confronting that fear.
Yep. Yep.
Because if you don't remember, I said you can start going backwards. So you could push all you want, and eventually that levee that you have, or that dam that you have, is going to break.
Yep. Yep.
You're
Yep.
going to demand too, it's going to be too much on you, it's going to be too much on your team, and then your team is going to be like, look, I can't take this stress,
Mm-mm.
so I'm out.
Yep. I'm out. It's too much. There's no consistency at all. And
Exactly.
yeah,
So we're about to wrap this up. Keena, do you have any last words on this topic?
I do. So listen, your having a business is all about making decisions over and over again. And it doesn't matter which stage you're in. So whether it's the build stage, the strengthen stage, the growth stage, or the scale stage, it's all about making decisions over and over again. And one of those decisions that you're making over and over again is to do business in a way that's consistent, so that you can get to the growth stage, so that you can get to the scale stage. And so that's a decision that's made every day, every week, every month. If you had the type of business that you're like, okay, so this week we're doing this program, next week we're doing another program, the month from now we're going to do it, like there's no way to actually scale that. But when you have one program, two programs that you're doing over and over again, that is being decisive, in that you're like, okay, in order for me to get this structure, this business that I truly want, I have to decide over and over again to do the same steps every single time. Every time I coach someone, every time I'm working with a potential client, I'm doing the same things over and over again, so that I can create that structure, so that I can document, so that I can scale. And so to the to sum it all up, you're practicing the art of decision making the minute that you decide to become a coach, the minute that you decide to have a coaching business. If you do not hone in on the ability to make quick decisions when necessary, and delay other decisions when they need to be delayed, then getting to this scale stage is going to be, let me say this, getting to the scale stage and staying there is going to be that much difficult because you have not figured out that whole quality of, okay, I need to make a quick decision. Or, and I used to do this with clients. How about we because you have so many things to figure out on your plate, how about we wait until Friday to figure these things out? That'll give you time to not have decision fatigue, but it'll also give you some space so that you can figure out, like, is this what I really want to do? But you're still delaying the act of making the decision, but you're being smart about it. You're delaying it till Friday or whatever date you have in mind. But then there's those situations where you need to make a decision right now, right away. So being able to navigate both of those lanes is imperative if you want to scale your business and stay at the scaled phase.
You're right. I like that point about getting there and staying there. That is a whole other episode. That's a whole other one.
Oh, other one.
Um,
Oh goodness.
well, I want to thank everyone for joining us live, those who are watching the replay or listening to this episode on all your platforms, which would be Apple, on Spotify. Um, there's another one, I can't think of it. But thank you so much for listening. And on YouTube, thank you for watching. Really do appreciate it. You could have been doing anything in the world, but you chose to spend this time with us, and we are eternally grateful and thankful. Join us next week as we tackle the subject, the lost art of critical thinking. Ooh, ooh, that's good. All right, y'all. Thank you so much. And you all have a great and wonderful day. All right, y'all. Bye.